Uche had spent a long time in the hospital, such that he had started to feel like the hospital was his home. He can't remember the particular date he was admitted into the hospital, but he remembered that he was feeling a minor headache. He was rushed to the hospital that day by his father, who thought it was just malaria or typhoid. He was treated by the doctor and he got better. He was asked to spend the night at the hospital and his father had agreed. That was when he was preparing to resume studies at the university because he had just completed his secondary education. The next day, his case got worse. He remembered that his mother had visited him early in the morning when he was about to be discharged. And then the doctor said he wanted to give him one final injection that would finish off the malaria and typhoid. After that injection, he was never himself again. The doctor has also not stopped giving him that injection. He gives it to him once daily and it kind of makes him sick, drowsy and weak. It has never occurred to him to check the bottle of medicine. All his father was told was that he was suffering from a kidney disease. His father trusted the doctor and his medical opinion so well, so he never bothered getting a second doctor or a second opinion. But wait, if I'm suffering from a kidney disease, I should have died by now. Why am I not dead, despite the fact that there has been no transplant as recommended by the doctor? I have spent almost 2 years in this hospital, and all the doctor keeps saying is that I will die if I go home. He keeps giving me only one injection that makes me weak. I think I have to do my personal investigation, Uche said. It was early in the morning, and he had just finished eating his breakfast. He stood up from the hospital bed and went to the trash can in the room. He rummaged through the trash and found the bottle of medicine. He went back to the bed, picked up his phone and googled the name of the medicine. What he saw was an amazement. He discovered that the medicine which the doctor had been giving him was nothing else than sleeping medicine. No wonder I always feel weak after the injection. I always feel the urge to sleep off. My goodness. I think the doctor wants me dead and I must leave this place immediately, Uche said in his heart. He thought of calling his father, but decided against the idea. He started planning on how to leave the hospital undetected by the doctor and the nurses. He wants to quickly leave the hospital before the doctor comes to give him injection for that money. I have to disappear from here with immediate effect. My findings now proves to me that I have no kidney disease. The doctor has been telling my father lies about my health condition, which he said again in his heart. He packed up his bag and opened the door to observe. He did not want any hospital official to know he was running away. He observed carefully before coming out of the hospital ward. He walked very fast along the veranda towards the elevator. He passed the doctor's office and saw that it was slightly opened. He heard a voice that sounded so much like that of Ada, his mother. Uche decided to take the risk and go closer to the office to eavesdrop on the conversation Ada was having with the doctor. But wait, what is she even doing in the hospital this early morning? Uche asked himself as he continued to tiptoe towards the doctor's office. He placed his ear on a tiny opening on the door. I want you to keep giving him the sleeping injection. Also, keep telling my husband that he must fly the boy abroad for treatment or he will die. I will keep paying you the amount we agreed on, Ada said to the doctor. But madam, what if he dies? Because it is now 2 good years since I've been giving him that injection. It might kill him and I will be landed into serious trouble. Why don't you just use your hand and buy this boy if you want him dead? The whole thing is getting messed up, and your husband might start suspecting me, the doctor said. Well, if he dies, that's better for me. That is what I want. I want him dead, but I want my husband to suffer first. If the boy continues to be sick, my husband will continue to suffer to treat him. This makes me happy. Ucho was surprised to hear the things his supposed mother was saying. He had brought out his phone and used it to record everything Ada said to the doctor. I wonder if this woman is actually my mother. Why would she want me dead? Uche asked himself. He continued to listen and to record. But madam, if I may ask, what did your husband do to you? Why are you making him to suffer? That man has really suffered in your hands. Why are you treating him this way? The doctor asked. It is a long story, a very long one, but I'm going to make it short. You see, Uche is not my biological son. What she said sounded like a bombshell on Uche's ears. It was my housemaid who gave birth to him, though the boy is not aware. My husband got our housemaid pregnant just 2 months after we got married many years ago. Incidentally, I was also pregnant with my first child at that time. One day, I caught my husband on a matrimonial bed with the same housemaid. He was eating her bottle of honey. Out of anger, I beat up the housemaid. My husband didn't like that, so he decided to beat me up as well. I lost my pregnancy in the process. There were serious complications, and I nearly died. The doctor had to remove my womb just to save my life. Ada said with tears in her eyes. Uche was shocked by the things Ada was saying. He had to control his emotions and then continued to listen. I survived, doctor. I survived. But I will never be able to bear my children again. All because of Eze. All because of the man I called my husband. Though he begged me to forgive him, that it was the devil. I told him I've forgiven him. Oh. Of course, what will I say? But since then, I have been bleeding. The housemaid later gave birth to a boy. And that boy is the Uche you're seeing today. Unfortunately, the housemaid died after childbirth. My husband took the baby to my mother-in-law who cared for him until he grew up and finished secondary school. And doctor, my husband wants to train him in the university. I can't be alive and the boy will live. Never. His mother made me to lose my child. His mother made me to lose my womb. Our own cannot live. Now, doctor, let me burst your bubbles. I made money so I can pursue revenge. I will make him suffer and also make my husband to suffer. The woman you're seeing right in front of you is on a revenge mission, Ada said while still in tears. I heard everything you said. I have recorded it. You are a heartless woman. I am taking it to the police, Uche said as he suddenly entered the room when he could no longer control his emotion. Ada stood up and started pursuing him. Uche ran out, dashed into the elevator, and he was transported downstairs. Ada followed through the stairs, but Uche was already out of the hospital and disappeared into the streets. No matter where you run to, I will catch you, Ada said as she ignited her car and drove off. After Eze had the accident, he became unconscious. Those in the area rushed him to the hospital. He was taken to the same hospital where his son, Uche, was earlier kept. the same hospital where his wife Ada had been bribing the doctor to work against him. He was rushed to the emergency unit and the doctor was called. When he saw that the accident victim was easy, he slowed down. He decided not to attend to him with the speed and urgency the situation deserves. You have been delivered into my hands. I don't think you will leave this place alive, the doctor said as he went outside. He brought out his phone and called Ada. Your husband had an accident. He is unconscious. I think it's time for us to finish the job. Come to the hospital right away and see things for yourself. Your enemy has been delivered to you on a platter of gold, the doctor said over the phone. See miracle. I am on my way. I am coming right away so we can finish the job. Today is the day that the Lord has made. The day that I have been waiting for. He has finally been delivered into my hands. Is there any way you can revive him? I want him to be conscious and hear me out when I ask him questions before finishing him. I want him to be alive and answer all my questions. Please do everything possible to revive him. And please revive him secretly so that people won't know that he's still alive. When we finish, you can now tell people he was already dead before he was brought to the hospital, Ada said. All right, consider it done, my madam, the doctor said as he rushed back inside. He told the nurses on duty to leave the emergency room so he can figure out what was wrong with Eze. When the nurses left, he managed to revive him. Eze could hear the doctor but was not talking yet. Not long after Eze was revived, Ada arrived at the hospital. She came to meet the doctor at the emergency unit. Can he hear me now? She asked the doctor. Of course, he can hear you, the doctor replied and nodded his head. Eze, my love. Eze, my first love. The one who broke my humanhood. The one who I thought I could do life with. The one whom I was ready to submit totally to. My body, my wealth, my will, and all. Thank you. Thank you for turning me into a monster. Thank you for turning me into a beast that I never knew I can become. I am here to tell you that I've come to finish the job I started. I am here for full revenge. I want to retaliate for the pains you have caused me over the years. I know I said I've forgiven you, but I lied. Yes, I lied. Because the pains still linger. Look at me. I can't give birth to my own children, so I lied. There was no way I was going to forgive you just like that after you made me lose my womb. I can never forgive you for making me lose my baby and subsequently unable to carry my children. I have worked hard to make money so that I will be able to carry out this revenge and also afford whatever I want without depending on you. She paused a little and asked the doctor to fix a drip bag on Ace's body so that she can use it to inject something into his body. The doctor did as she said. I know the police must have told you I was the one who invited armed robbers into our house. Well, they did not lie. I did it. I didn't stop there. There are other things I did as well. I was the one who kidnapped Uche, your son. The boy who constantly reminds me of your betrayer. And you know what? The 60 million naira you paid as ransom is sitting pretty in my account. Eze was hearing everything Ada was saying. He could not reply, but her words were hitting him like sharp nails. Tears were rolling down his eyes. You were sad? Why are you crying? This is not the right time to cry, my love. If you are sad, what should I do? What about me that you beat and I lost my womb? My dear, you know what? I remember those days. Even when I was terribly sick and you wanted these things. Just for me to be a submissive wife, I will open up my legs. After the daily activities, and I was so tired, you could visibly see that I was tired and I needed rest. But you will mount up and I will open my legs just to be a submissive wife. But you weren't satisfied. You stooped so low and you betrayed my trust. You betrayed our marital vows with our househelp. Not anywhere, but on our matrimonial bed. So if you are sad, what should I do? Do you know what it means not to be able to carry my own children because of you? Not because God created me that way. Not because I had an abortion that made me damage it. No, because of you. You were supposed to be my husband. Just in case you don't know, a husband is someone who nurses his wife. And a good husband will bring out the best in his wife. But Eze, you nursed me and you brought out the best in me. You nursed me and you brought out a dragon. Well, that beast is now here to teach you the final lesson so that in your next life you will not mistreat a woman. She reached out for her handbag and brought out the substance which was already inside the needle. She paced around the floor and got ready to inject it into the drip bag so that it will enter Eze's body. She continued, like I said, I have been the one responsible for all the bad things that have happened to you. Uche was never sick. I was the one who kept him in that condition just so that you'll be spending money on hospital bills. The house you lived in, I am the owner, and I also ordered that you should be evicted. I am the landlady. And I was the one who bought your former house. I also bought the shares you sold. Everything. I mean, everything, including your life, belongs to me, Ada said sarcastically. The tears dripping down from Eze's eyes had increased. No, my love, you don't have to cry, and I will tell you why. Today is the best day of my life. It gives me utmost satisfaction to carry out this revenge, she said as she injected the substance into the drip bag. It changed the color of the liquid in the bag and everything became brownish. It was a matter of time before it would seep into Eze's body and kill him. Meanwhile, Uche had gone to the police station and informed them of everything Ada had done. Already, the police were hunting for Ada, so they were happy when Uche told them she was seen at the hospital. Policemen were dispatched to the hospital to get her arrested. However, before they arrived at the hospital, Ada had left the place. Eze was already leaving the world because the substance had entered his body. Uche rushed to hold him, but he could barely move. Not long after the police arrived, Eze died and Uche became heartbroken. The police arrested the doctor at the hospital, but that was not enough for Uche. Wherever she goes, I will hunt her down myself. She cannot do all this evil and go scot-free. Ada, You will hear from me, Uche said in tears. Weeks later, Uche has been devastated by the death of his father. He felt worse knowing that his father was killed by the woman he married. While he also apportioned blames to his father, he felt he shouldn't have died for the mistakes he made when he was still a young man. Regardless of what his father must have done against Ada, Uche felt he didn't deserve to die the way he did. He therefore decided to avenge his death. My father was a good man. He can never die in vain. My stepmother killed him due to her wicked heart, which had refused to forgive him. I will not allow her to go scot-free. She will pay dearly for this, Uche said in his heart shortly after his father was buried. Ada did not attend her husband's funeral. On the day of the burial, she was in her house chilling and drinking wine. She greatly relished the fact that she had successfully deleted Eze, who brought her so much pain. She never liked the mere fact that Eze was alive. Now that he's dead, she felt like a burden was lifted off her shoulders. It took her many years to plan her revenge, and she was successful. I am now a happy woman. In his next life, he will never attempt to beat a woman. If he has the chance to come into this world again, he will respect women and never beat them. He will learn to treat his wife with respect. He will learn to avoid cheating on his wife. That's if he gets the chance to reincarnate. As for me, I am going to live happily, and I'm going to adopt a child and make him the heir to my wealth. As for Uche, eliminating him is just a minor thing. He should just give me a few days and I will find him and deal with him. I will find and personally finish him the way I finished his father. Ada was not aware that she was planning to finish Uche. He was also planning to finish her. Uche had gone to the house where his father was thrown out. His property and even those belonging to Ada were still there. Even Ada's car was still in the compound because she had abandoned that one the day she was coming back from the supermarket and saw the police had come to arrest her. Since that day, she had not returned to the compound. The mistake she made was that all the documents to her properties were kept in the car. Everything concerning her life, including bank details, were left in a briefcase in her car. In fact, she never leaves the briefcase behind because it was like a bag of secrets. But while running from the police, she did not think about it. When Eze was chased out of the compound, she simply reasoned that since it was her house, she would return any time to pick her car and bag. Her plan was to divert the attention of the police away from the compound, and that was why she chased Eze away from there. The problem now is that Uche visited the compound after his father's burial, and he found the briefcase while searching around. He also found his father's briefcase, which contained his own documents. His father's iron was also in the briefcase. Luckily for Uche, his father had written a will before he died, and he willed all his wealth to him. All the property lay outside when Uche visited the house. Now, I think it is time to go after that monster called Ada, Uche said as he carried the two briefcases and left the compound. He went straight to the hospital and stowed himself back to the hospital bed where he had been hospitalized earlier. He laid on the bed waiting for a nurse to come. It was towards the evening and a nurse had come to check the place because Uche's name was still in the hospital's roster as a patient needing medical care frequently. When the nurse entered the room, Uche quickly grabbed his father's iron and ordered her to sit down. The nurse fearfully obeyed him. He brought out his phone, searched for Ada's phone number, and then used the nurse's phone to call her. He instructed the nurse on what to tell Ada over the phone. Tell her that I'm back at the hospital and I'm very sick. Convince her that you know she's looking for me, and tell her you have injected me and kept me in bed for her to come and kill. Madam, don't try anything funny, because if you do, I will delete you, Uche said. Night was gradually falling. Ada was having a meeting with her lawyer concerning her practice when she got the call from the nurse. She called off the meeting and immediately rushed to the hospital. When she got there, what she saw wasn't what she was expecting. Sit down on the floor, Uche ordered Ada as soon as she entered the hospital ward. Ada did as she was told. She was shocked to see Uche with an iron. She knew there was fire on the mountain. Now take your phone and call your lawyer to come here. Tell him to come here immediately, Uche said to Ada with a harsh voice. She obeyed. The lawyer drove to the hospital because Ada had told him it was a matter of life and death. When everyone had arrived, Uche grabbed a pen and paper. He gave the pen to Ada and ordered her to write. You're going to write your will right now and right here. You will write that I'll be the one to inherit your wealth in your absence. Your lawyer will sign before we will leave this place. Once you do that, there will be peace. But if you don't, I will simply delete you. Ada knew Uche was not joking. She knew he was out for revenge. However, she also believed that Uche was just a boy, and she just needs to get out of the hospital alive, and then she will be able to recover her property and wealth from him. So she did everything Uche asked and even told him her bank details and handed over her ATM cards to him. The lawyer played his part by signing the documents. I have all the documents to your properties now. You will never see them again. And guess what? I am doing this for my father. Yes, I know he caused you pain. But instead of divorcing him, no, you remained in his life until you destroyed him. Well, now is my turn to destroy you. Everything you own and have worked for now belongs to me, Uche said. He pulled the trigger and shot Ada, her lawyer, and the nurse. The three of them died. Uche was about stepping out of the hospital, and he was surprised to see some policemen, and they asked him just a simple question that broke him down. Are you in any way different from the woman you came to report? He willingly submitted himself to be arrested. Hey, African Tales by Kamma tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. Before I go today, I would like to say this. Have you been hurt by someone or maybe your spouse, and the pain is just too much for you to bear? And sometimes in your quiet time, the devil keeps ringing to your ears. No grill, pay back, do your own back, and add jara. My darlings, don't yield to that voice. If it means you walking away in order for you to be healed completely, please do, and then get professional help. Ada didn't know that there was another being right in her apart from the submissive wife she used to be. She allowed unforgiveness to drive her into becoming a monster. She permitted it by not seeking for help and by constantly meditating on the offense. Like a popular quote, why seeking revenge? Dig two graves, one for yourself. And that's exactly what happened to Ada because she lost her life as well. One thing I want you all to know is that you're helping yourself more than the offender when you choose to forgive. You'll be happier and you will feel better physically. And you will be also releasing the offender to God to do what only Him can do. If you are in the way trying to take revenge or take control of the situation yourself, God has no obligation to deal with that person. However, when you trust God and choose to forgive, He He will take care of the rest. See, the act of forgiveness is our seed of obedience to His word. Once we have sown our seed, He is faithful to bring a harvest of blessing to us, one way or the other. Mark 11 verse 22 to 26 clearly teaches us that unforgiveness hinders our faith from working. The Father can't forgive our sins if we don't forgive other people. We reap what we sow. Sow mercy, and you will reap mercy. Sow judgment, and you will also reap judgment. So, my dear friends, do yourself a favor and forgive. I'm sure you learned one or two things from this story. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like and comment. If you like what we are doing and you want to support me, kindly use the link on my bio or the link on the description of this video to buy me coffee. You can as well buy me super things. Till I bring another story your way, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.